This is Stranded Alien Dawn. The pitch of this game is basically it's RimWorld if RimWorld had modern 3D graphics. It's obviously, it's a newer game than RimWorld. It does not have the sheer depth and complexity of RimWorld yet. But it's got a lot going for it. A lot of familiar things that are easy for me to understand because I'm a RimWorld player. But then also, a lot of new touches that make the game feel fresh and make me really interested in playing it further. So I've already started a colony that I've been playing for several hours, but I'm going to start from scratch again so you can sort of see the entire process from the beginning. So let's go with the most vanilla scenario, which is crash landing, Sobrius, which is sort of not this deserty region that you're seeing in the background here. I think Sobrius is it's like a lush area, but you can go to Desertum or randomly choose between the two. And I imagine over time they might want to introduce a variety of different planets that you can settle, which could be really cool. The moon, they let you select the moon, which I think this is like choosing the storyteller in RimWorld. It's kind of this weird mystical way of framing the idea of, how events play out on the world. They have it be your creepy possessed moon, and that's great. So I'm gonna pick Concordia, which is balanced. Game difficulty medium, seed whatever they want. No special game rules, I don't think. We could go random survivors, but now let's choose the survivors just because that's part of the process. Okay, so you can choose 4 survivors to be your initial group that lands. And you can see over here on the right, it shows, what each of them, what skills they have. The number of different skills, I think, is lower in this game than it is in RimWorld. I think they deliberately scaled it down as much as they could to make it more comprehensible, but there's still a lot to figure out. So we want to grab some experts in some basic things. Crafting is one. I started my last story without a crafting expert, and I think that was a mistake. So let's get Kana here, who is a crafting expert. So you can see she's got crafting, and now that I've selected her, these little triangles appear at all of her skill levels. As we add people, these triangles will move to show the highest skill level we've got available. So we should probably have somebody who's good at combat. So let's scroll through. Oh, here we go. Ember is good at combat. She's terrible at crafting, though. And she's about the same in a lot of the other things. So, yeah, so she's going to be sort of our defender. And then what else do we want to make sure we bring up? Intellect and physical, we've got both of those pretty well covered between Kana and Ember. Oh, wait, Ember is the best at intellectual and physical, too. But, okay, so we're really low on farming, and we're pretty low on cooking. Let's see if we can find a farmer. Okay, Laura here is a farmer. So now that I've chosen her, farming is up. So now cooking and construction are my low ones. Is there anybody around here who is good at cooking and construction? A little bit better than the others. She's a little better. Occasionally you get someone who's incapable of something. Okay, so we can get a better cook and a decent crafter if we bring in Paulette. I notice they have relationships, which I've not quite determined what those are about. But she's got a neurotic personality. But manipulation efficiency is increased, which I guess means she performs actions faster? That's interesting. I don't want to be taking too... let's just pick Paulette, because I don't want to be too slow about this. Okay, so Ember's our combat person. Kana is our crafter. Laura is our farmer. Paulette is our cook. We don't have a lot of great constructors. Ember is okay at construction. And it looks like Kana's interested in construction, which I think means she'll grow in skill faster at it, even though she starts fairly low. Okay, so that's our group. Let's... so Cogs points out these little triangles are a nice touch. I think that RimWorld does something similar. I think that also that RimWorld does show you like what the highest point you've reached is in each skill when you're selecting your group, but I've forgotten the details. I'll need to go back to the game. Cog says that Sobrius, the name of this planet, is Latin for not drunk. So, well, yeah, let's hope these people, as we settle on this planet, are not going to be drunk. You do eventually get access to ale, but not yet, not initially. Okay, So here we are. We're crashing. Now, one thing I've been curious about is how different playthroughs are going to be, because I've only played the one. I played the tutorials, which kind of have their own thing going on. But otherwise, I've only played the one campaign. So let's have a look at this. So, yeah, okay. So the layout here is very different from what I found. Oh yeah, like right here, like I'm very close to these silicon plants, which I had to travel really far to find in the last game. And then over here, what are these blue plants? It's a peculiar bush. Okay, so I'm actually seeing a few things that I didn't see before the last time I played. So this is going to be a process of discovery, but that's okay. That's okay. So I've paused so the time doesn't continue. Laura's freaking out. She hates the fact that she's just crashed the starship. We've got a bunch of random stuff, including food and laser guns, lying around on the ground. The first thing we're going to want to do is build ourselves some shelters. Shelters where we can store things, and shelters where my people can sleep. It looks like Laura is also... Is she injured? Let's have a look. Oh, smoke inhalation. Okay, she'll recover from that just fine. I don't think we need to worry about that. Oh, this red icon made me think that she was injured. Actually, this red icon probably just means she's crying. That looks like a crying emotion. Okay, so yeah, so she's having a meltdown, but while that's going on, let's figure out where exactly we want to build. I'm thinking maybe this side over here where it's kind of open. So at first, you don't actually have your full building tools available to you. That's something you actually have to research before you can start planning up, laying foundations, building walls, doors, roofs, that sort of thing. All you have up front is just a basic shelter. So you can see this shelter. It's open on one side, and it's got 3 walls. So I'm going to point the open side in the direction of the team. And so somebody is going to go and build that out of scrap metal. Whoa. Ah, another piece of the starship just landed nearby. Hello. So one thing we can do is scavenge from the starship. So I can click the scavenge button, which will mean that they'll start pulling resources out of this. Somebody will also start building this. This is one of those like colony sims where you make jobs and then characters take up those jobs. And you can eventually, if you want to, get into a lot of details of managing how they prioritize their jobs, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. So yeah, so it looks like we're transporting stuff over here to use it in construction. When you first build something, it has a blue blueprint, and then when they deliver the materials to it, the blueprint turns purple. And that means that it's ready for them to start doing the work of constructing it. So Kana's going to do the construction. I believe that she was our best constructor, so that's probably a good idea. Oh yeah, but no, she wasn't our best constructor. Ember's our best constructor. So she's going to build this, and then underneath it, we'll put storage. We're going to stick a stockpile. Now, unlike RimWorld, characters actually have to, because they're moving around in 3D, characters actually have to be able to walk up to your storage. In RimWorld, they can just step right over generic storage spaces, and that's what I assumed they could do when I first started. That is not possible. You have to have a little hallway in here for them to be able to reach these. If I block this off, then these 2 tiles won't be accessible. But now that we've got these tiles here, they're going to start transporting stuff that was dropped in the crash and putting it here. This is, you can only, there are large and small items to store. Large items like construction materials take up an entire tile, but like you can see here, this scrap metal is taking up an entire tile. But smaller things like these MREs are, they only take up a quarter tile. And okay, so it looks like we have found some of our weapons that are lying around. We should probably equip our best fighter with some of these weapons. So let's have our best fighter. Oh, they haven't found the laser gun yet. Oh, there we go. We're transporting the laser gun right now. So they found that laser gun on the ground. So Kana's transporting it. And now we're going to equip Ember with the laser pistol and the laser pike. So Ember's our best combat person. So the fights we have early on aren't that scary. And so I'm just going to have Ember take them, basically. Okay, so Ember is all equipped. And now we're running out of things to do. So let's have a look. So one of the very first things you need to do when you arrive is observe things. So you click on an item like this blue bush and hit observe. And that will send a character over to examine the species and figure out what we can learn from it. Similarly, there's a squash-like plant over here. We're going to observe that and find out what it is. We'll observe these trees, different types of trees. And if there were animals nearby, we would also observe those. So let me speed things up in just... but before I do that, I should build a second shelter for them to live in. So let's build another shelter. I'm building everything out of scrap metal right now because that's what I have most easily to hand. But eventually I want to be building things out of local renewable materials like wood. So in there, we can build some sleeping spots. And these can be reached from anywhere. By the way, you can click on something you've already built and hit copy to make another one. You can also hold shift to place multiple things. So it looks like I can fit 3 people into this shelter, but I've got 4. So we're going to need to add another shelter. And this is kind of a fun thing about this game. So check it out. If I put another shelter back to back, they actually, you can't see it very well, they actually open the back to make it one solid building. And similarly, if I add it here, it opens the side to make it one solid building. So yeah, so let's build that over there. And I don't know how many more of these. Okay, so I got 64 scrap metal. So we're continuously scavenging out of here to get more. So that won't run out immediately, but it could run out soonish. Here, I'm going to move this over there, and then I'm going to copy it right there. So yeah, so we'll have basically everybody lined up against the wall. So we've got a place to sleep tonight. That's really important. Let's see here. So Sio Sahos asks, you don't need to have male and female characters. As far as I know, there's no procreating in this game. I wasn't trying to choose an all-female team. I just ended up with an all-female team. But we will potentially meet future recruits, and so we could get some dudes out of that if that's something that we're looking for. Oh, hey, we just found another spear. So let's grab Kana here. Oh, it's not. It says that we just found a spear. Did we... Was this old? This might be an old message. Yeah, if that's an old message, then whatever. We only have the one spear. Okay, you can see that Paulette is over here observing this squash-like plant. And it looks like, okay, we scavenged some fuel. That's nice. So everyone's taking turns scavenging. And observing. So let's speed things up. So yeah, everybody's observing these trees. Oh no, a thunderstorm. Everyone's gonna be miserable now. Cool. Okay, so we've stored up a bunch of these MREs that they're gonna eat, but we need to find a better source of food than that fairly quickly. Observing these plants is one way to get there, but we should also see if there's any nearby animals that we can hunt. Ah, yes, there are. So I happen to know that all of these animals are edible. So it might be worthwhile. Well, I'm going to mark some of these for observation first. We can live off MREs for a little bit. Let's make sure that we actually fully understand these creatures before we start murdering them. But yeah, it looks like we've got our little settlement hooked up here. So I'm going to... Let's build a... Oh, hey! So farming is now an option because we've fully observed the trees. And so now we can make orchards if we want to. And that's basically like when we finish observing this squash-like plant, we'll be able to plant this on farms. So, okay, so we've just... Oh, we've almost finished observing this. Okay, so another thing we should do... Oh, okay, so we should build a campfire, except we don't have what it takes to make a campfire right now. We need to collect sticks and stones. Okay, so this is a fruit bush. I've never actually encountered fruit bushes before. So I wonder if, like, they actually... Actually, you know what? I can grab a harvest action and just harvest all of these fruit bushes. And then I should also cut some wood in order to... But oh, that won't give me sticks, though. Oh, there are these large bushes here. These will give me sticks. Uh-oh, we got insufficient storage space already. All right, let's build our shelter a little bigger. And let's add some more storage space. So you see, my character ran over and they chopped all of this wood, but because we didn't have any storage spaces, they've got nowhere to stick the wood. We do have wood. That's nice. One thing we don't have, though, is sticks. So there were a lot of these large bushes around my last campsite, and those were a really good place to get sticks. You could just harvest them straight off the bushes. I'm going to need to actually turn my wood into sticks around here because we've got a couple of bushes over here, but otherwise not very much. Bushes seem to be kind of rare here. I mean, I can cut this if we want to, but we're not going to have very many, so cut bushes. Okay, so you can see here, Ember is transporting sticks. I do really like these little messages, by the way, underneath their names, where you can see that exactly what the character is doing, or what they've just done based on just what the little blurbs underneath their names. Okay, so we've collected some sticks, we've collected some scrap. Does that mean that we can build a campfire? Yeah, we can build a scrap metal campfire. We haven't found any stone, so we can't make one out of rock. But we can build a scrap metal campfire. So I'll put one right there. We've got some sticks to get it going. If we wanted to make new sticks... Okay, it looks like we've got... Wait, we have 100 and... We've got a lot more sticks in stock than I thought. Where are all these sticks? I see 10 sticks over here, 63 sticks over here. That seems like more sticks than I thought I had. Okay, it's our first night. Everybody's going to bed. We didn't have to have one of those nights you often have in RimWorld where half the characters can't sleep because you haven't finished making their beds yet. So that's good. All right, so if I want to make sure that we stay with, that we keep having sticks, oh wait, oh this doesn't have the option to, there we go, until. So I can basically say, let's make sure we always have 200 sticks by taking this chopping block, basically making a job that says anytime we don't have 200 sticks, chop wood until we have enough sticks. So people are going to do that at some point once they wake up. One thing I also do like is that whenever there's an ongoing job, it highlights the target in blue. So you can sort of scan the environment and figure out where characters are already working. Okay, so we can mine some rocks if we want some rocks. Okay, this guy's already injured. Oh, he's dying. Oh, I don't know what happened to this guy, but he's about to keel over dead. And when he does, we will be there to eat his corpse. Oh, he's dead. I don't know what killed him. Kana is idling? Kana, come and butcher this thing. So yeah, so when a creature dies, you can butcher it for meat. So Kana's going to come out here and butcher. She could have hunted this Ulfin, but instead, she just died of natural causes. So she's grabbing its meat. She can also grab its hide. What is this? This is a poo. We're going to learn about poo. Okay, it looks like Ember is coming to grab the hide. Cool. All right, so... And there's more we can grab too, food-wise, like over here, for instance. Oh, hello, what? We put together a camp as quick as we could, considering the circumstances. We're not sleeping in the dirt, we have a roof over our heads, and fire to illuminate the dark, uncertain nights. And the most important, we have survived. To us, this feels like an achievement worth honoring. We can gather around the campfire and celebrate being alive at 7 o'clock tonight. Great, let's do it! So we're going to have a celebration, that's fun. We're also going to harvest these buttermelons. That we now know what they are because we've observed them. Oh, but there's insufficient storage space. Okay, so yeah, so we're very quickly running out of storage space at all times at the moment. And that's going to be true for a little while until we get a little bit more up and running. But let's build another scrap metal shelter. Though, actually, one thing we could do, now that we've been chopping down trees, what am I trying to do? We could choose... Oh, can we? Oh, no. Oh, we need hay. We need hay. Hay is over here. Let's say if I wanted to start building things not out of scrap metal, we could do it with hay. And I think... Can I just... Is it harvest or is it cut? Let's see here. Harvest? Nope, harvest only gets you the fruit from something. I think I need to actually cut. I need to cut the hay. So we'll cut some hay. Okay, I didn't actually successfully cut it. So let's... One thing you can do, by the way, in this game is highlight a bunch of stuff at once and then selectively do what you want to it. So when you highlight a bunch of different things, it brings up a menu on the left side that lists them all, and you get to select them and decide what you want to do with them. So for instance, I want to cut the blade grass, but I want to harvest the fruit bushes. And so I can give those two separate orders to those two separate things, rather than having to sort of make everything line up. And now that we're collecting meat and berries and things like that, we can actually make some recipes. So veggie soup, for instance, is something that we can make out of anything that's a veggie. So I'll make 4 of these a day. Make sure that I have 4 of these in stock at all times. And then also, let's have a little bit of meat soup. We won't be hunting as much, so we'll make a little bit of meat soup. Okay, so everybody's celebrating their survival. Yay! Oh, let's have a party! Oh, Laura just shared her fears about survival. All right, and now it's bedtime, but everyone's happy because of the celebration. That's great. SXO, no. Today we're not doing an official Undead Labs live stream. That is next week. Next week we're going to be going over all the details for the release of Update 33. Oh, so you see, so somebody just got a negative mood thing for eating on their feet. People really like to eat at a table. So as soon as we can actually... Oh, good. We can build wooden shelters now. So I'm going to build a wooden shelter. I'm going to build 2 wooden shelters. And actually, let's see. So this is going to be our like little dining room area, sheltered dining room. And then over here, let's keep building this one out. So we'll get even more storage. Eventually, we'll stop discovering new things to store. But today is not that day. So let's actually get some furniture. Let's build a table. Let's do a stone table, because why not? And then some stone chairs. Just because I felt like changing it up. I don't think we've got enough stone for all that, though, so I should probably tell them to mine another stone. I discovered manure! Okay, so they're hinting that we should probably do some research, and I agree. So research involves a research table and somebody with intellect. So let me, real quick... I found stones earlier. Where did I find them? Ah, it was up here. Let's mine these. Let's observe these guys. Okay, so we've got... So people are sort of settling into their jobs. Paulette is our cook, and she has started... she's started cooking the sort of the food material that we've been grabbing, cooking it into actual meals, which people will prefer to eat. Where do those meals live? I think they're over here. Yeah, so we've got 2 meat soups and 4 veggie soups. So every day, Paulette is going to try to make that number of meals so these folks can eat them. And they'll come over here and eat their veggie soup at the table, and it's great. But, oh yeah, so, but one thing that I would like to do is, let's keep the meals where they go. Let's keep the meals that we're creating over here by the table. So I can just put a shelf across here. I think that people can still get around. So I'm going to have them store the meals in this room rather than over there. And then we need to come up with a place to do research. So let's... Yet another shelter. We can actually... Where do we want to stick this? I'm not sure what this is, and so I wanted to be being a little bit nervous about it, but... So yeah, so whoever our research person is, let's go to science, get a research desk, and set that up in there so we can have a research person working away. Okay, everybody's sleeping. So now that we have explored a bunch of plants, our farming options are greatly increased. And in fact, we should probably get started farming pretty much immediately so that we've got some later. So let's take some of this open space here and let's grow a bunch of buttermelons. Let's also grab some fruit bushes. Now, Paulette is not our best farmer. And so it makes me want to look at the activities list here and just see who should do what. So it looks like basically anybody who has any skill in anything at all has been assigned to do that thing. But you can channel people a little more. Like, for instance, Ember is our best researcher. So we could just say that only Ember is allowed to research. Or we could say that, for instance, Paulette was our best cook. So we could say that only Paulette is the cook. And we could even go further, RimWorld style, and say that cooking is actually Paulette's most important job. Researching, I don't mind if other people do that, so I'm happy to let that one stay open. Crafting, and having multiple people who can craft, that's really important. And then construction. Ember's our best constructor. And so I think... But Ember's also by far going to be our best hunter. So I'm thinking that Ember should be... Well, Ember's already the only one who ever hunts. But if I give someone a hunting assignment, I want Ember to take it immediately. But then otherwise, constructing and research is probably what Ember will end up doing. And she's also the best scavenger. Ember's just a little bit too good, honestly. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about this too much. Not right now, because we want to keep things moving. Okay, so there's no... Oh, I don't have any research queued up. So let's go look at research. That is over here. Okay, so here are all the things that I could potentially research. Making cloth out of hay, for instance. So I can make my own cloth. That seems pretty valuable. Tailoring, so that I can make my own clothing. Weaponsmithing. This might actually be pretty important. I might want to do this first. Because it means that right now I only have a handful of weapons. And not everybody has it. Eventually, though, one of my goals is to get to... construction basics, so I can actually start building proper buildings. Let's start with weaponsmithing and then move on to construction basics. And then, you know what? I'll worry about what's next after this. Tailoring might make sense. Yeah, let's go tailoring next, but then let's just leave it. Let's leave it at that. Okay, so a lot of folks are a little bit... They're what am I trying to say? They're bored. So let's get them harvesting. Though I don't want to harvest so much food that it all goes bad. So let's harvest the stuff that's really close. And then, yeah. So Paulette is currently researching to get us to the point where we can make weapons. So in order to make weapons, though, we're going to need to have a workshop. So let's start some construction here. We'll build that, and then we will build a workbench. That's what it's called, workbench. Looks like we've scavenged everything we can out of this. There's a separate step called salvage that you can do after you've unlocked spaceship deconstruction. But we've scavenged everything from here that we can. So let's start scavenging the next chunk over here. And then... Okay, so Ember currently is my... Wait, oh, Paulette is researching. Okay, cool. Well then, let's go out and get some more meat. So, yeah, so this guy, the Draka... You shoot these guys, they yield red meat. So there's insect meat, which you get from guys like this, and then there's like raw red meat that you get from guys like this. And those two actually have different uses. Red meat can be turned into things like fat. If you don't want to eat it, you can use it for other things, like turning it into fat, which can be used for fuel. But the insect meat can, for instance, be turned into synthetics, which can be used for clothing and armor and stuff like that. So basically each of these enemies, they produce a particular thing, but then you can use that thing in a variety of different ways, which is pretty clever. I think that... Oh, animal attack. And we got some aggressive animals nearby too. Okay, so Ember is currently fighting this guy. And he's fighting back. Come on, kill him. Kill him. Oh yeah, get him with your spear. Oh, she's running away. Let's draft her so that she'll stick around and fight. Come on, get him. Oh, he's scary. He's scared now. There we go. So let's butcher him. Bring his food back. So yeah, so people will naturally run away when they get attacked by animals. But if you draft them, then you can sort of make them fight. Now we've got some aggressive animals gathering nearby. We got a bunch of these bugs up here. This is the equivalent of the raider attacks that you get in RimWorld. They happen periodically, and they'll sit up there for a while. Oh, now they're starting to attack. Okay, hold on. The people are mostly sleeping. Ember's wounded. And we only have 2 characters. Oh, did I even... Oh, hold on. No, I only have 1 character with a weapon. And she's injured. Okay, well, let's definitely draft her. Bring her down here. The characters can fight if they're unarmed, but it's not the best way to go. We can craft spears and bows for them. But that's going to take some time. And we don't have time to do it now, so I think I need to wake everybody up and gather them together to absorb this attack. But it's this is going to be nasty. So yeah, having your best fighter out hunting, I mean, it makes sense most of the time, but it definitely makes things more difficult when you suffer an attack. Luckily, I'm pretty sure these are going to be weak enemies. So let's fight them unarmed. So yeah, you see, these are enemies that you can defeat unarmed. It's just not the way you want to go. Okay, Ember's finally here. Can laze them. Okay, Kana, come help. Paulette. Okay, we're good. Undraft everybody. So now everybody is, like, miserable. So I forgot to check my healing skill. Who has... Okay, so... Medical emergency, Lara. Okay. So it looks like my best healer is Ember. Paulette is second best. So Ember, definitely heal Lara. And then Paulette is healing herself. Alright, let's speed this up. Hopefully... I think Laura's just bleeding to death, basically. You can check their health. And yeah, she's just got a bunch of bitten off flesh and she's bleeding. I love, by the way, healing yourself, it's an EpiPen animation, and they just do it again and again and again. Just jabbing things into yourself constantly. Okay, so Paulette originally didn't have an incredibly high healing skill, but she's interested in it, and she just did so much healing that it went up by quite a bit. Yeah, so Ember's not doing great herself, but she's devoting all of her time to Lara. Healing takes a long time in this game. Characters in battle, they tend to take a lot of individual injuries. And while that's going on, and you know, and if they were quick to heal, that'd be one thing. But see, look at the amount of time Ember is spending healing Lara. That was a lot. There was a lot going on there. Meanwhile, a pterodactyl keeps attacking us. So, Cogs asks, when do you get to build roads? I don't know if there are roads. I have not encountered roads yet in this game, but that doesn't mean they don't exist. It just means I haven't encountered them yet. Oh, it looks like my characters need some leisure, so I'm going to set them up a little shooting target here, which they can also use to test out some of their fighting abilities. And it looks like, okay, Kana has been crafting weapons. So let's see if these characters can get equipped. Yes, we've got a spear. So Lara is going to get a spear now. Oh, one thing we should definitely do is butcher the creatures we just killed. Otherwise, scavenger creatures like this vulture guy are going to come over and start stealing our food. I kind of like that, how they got this sort of simulated ecology where like buzzard types are going to just sort of creep up like this, and they are considering eating these corpses. They'll only do it if there's no humans around. Ooh, okay, we just got a helmet. We just found a helmet, so we're going to put that on Ember, our main fighter. And do we have anything else for her to wear that's special? I don't think so. Okay, so I'm going to mess with the restrictions on this. So I'm going to basically say this shelf is only for food. And then I'm actually going to say that you cannot keep food in here. You can keep raw food over here, and that's it. Okay, so hopefully we'll be a little bit more organized and people will know exactly where to get their food. So Kana is just making a bunch of weapons. So I'm getting everybody's spears now. We've got so many dragonfly dealies around here. Somebody should murder them. Where's Ember? Oh, Ember was out hunting. Okay. Oh, Paulette just reached Intellect 3 from all of this study. So SXO showed up and says Stranded Alien Dawn is a bit like RimWorld, but better looking. Yeah, so basically, yeah, it's like basically it's taking a lot of the ideas that were proven out in RimWorld with its very sort of basic visual representation. And you know, it's taking basically not having to experiment with it, because RimWorld was very experimental. It was learning from Dwarf Fortress and Prison Architect and other sort of like Colony Sim style games, but it was doing a lot of its own original new things too. Things that there was no guarantee that it was going to work out. And so it was really helpful for them to have the really sort of simple, low fidelity art style, because then they could take wild swings and try weird stuff without having to have each step and each misstep be really expensive. But now that RimWorld exists, you can have a game like Stranded Alien Dawn go through and rehash a lot of the same ideas, but with a different visual presentation. It's more fun to look at. You feel kind of, you know, a little extra proud of the things that you build because they look so nice. They're able to add that extra layer because they've got another model to work from. They're not innovating each of these mechanics from scratch or from sort of very different inspirations. They're doing a lot of just straight up the same stuff that RimWorld did, which reduces the risk, which means they can invest more in the visual look, which works really well. Okay, so it looks like everybody now can have a spear. Now we're working on bows and arrows. So the next time we have an alien attack, we're going to be ready. Oh, and it also looks like we've researched construction basics. So that'll be really useful. I think that next session, we should start actually building our little town. In the meantime, I'm just trying to figure out what the next good stuff to research is going to be. like electric grids. Oh, we need to find or produce metal alloys first before we can do electricity. Well, then let's move on to metal refinement after we're finished with tailoring. But yeah, so everybody's asleep, and actually, this might be a good time to wrap up. So basically, this episode, we managed to survive the crash. We got our little town up and running with all of its basic amenities, and that included research, which allowed us to unlock housing, which is what we're going to focus on in the next episode. So let me catch up with the chat real quick and make sure I haven't missed anything super important, aside from La Coalición reminding me that I should do an episode break, which I appreciate. And so Cog suggests that when you're naming a game, you should maybe not choose a name that has the acronym SAD. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, you're right. If somebody wants to abbreviate Stranded Alien Dawn, they'll just call it SAD. That's so far. I have not found this game to be sad. It's actually really entertaining and a lot of fun. So let's wrap up this episode. But if you're watching me live on Twitch, we are going to continue playing this game. So that link is going to go there if you're watching later on YouTube, and we're going to try to build ourselves a house.